Hi guys, welcome to my channel, your one stop to having fun, faith, and financial independence. If you're new here, my name is Jadine, but my friends call me Juds. If you suspect that you have a terrible relationship with your finances, then you've come to the right video. First off, this mic, it does anything it wants to do, okay? I've decided to just let it stay wherever. So you probably see it sometimes in the videos and you probably won't see it at all. Anyway, back into the video. So for the longest while, I had a bad relationship with my finances, but I wasn't always like that. I was actually a big saver growing up. Whatever money I got for like lunch or whatever, I normally save at least half of it. So you might be asking what changed, or you might not be asking, but I'm going to tell you anyway. And I'd say that past trauma was the cause of the change in my dynamic. There was a time in high school when both my parents lost their jobs within a month of each other. Yes, I know, crazy. The only two sources of income in my household, they were cut off. Naturally, we struggled a while with everything: bills, utilities, food. And for the first time in my life, I experienced lack, and I didn't know what to do about it. We eventually pulled out of that slump, probably after like a year or two or three, but a lot more years would have passed before I realized the effects that that time had on me. I just stopped saving. Any money I had, I spent it. And you might be wondering, wouldn't the hard time I experienced give me a greater appreciation for savings? Well, yes, I imagine it could have, but one thing that I learned is that people experience and process trauma in different ways, because we're all different people and respond to trauma in different ways. So my response was never wanting to feel like I lacked again. So if there was something I wanted in the moment, then I would purchase it for as long as I had the means. And that habit formed into a lifestyle for several years after that. However, reasons for a bad relationship with finances do not have to be as dramatic as my reason. There are a ton of reasons. It actually might do you good to sit back and think about what could spark your bad relationship with finances, so that it can help you to figure out how to move away from it. But a reason that will probably be the most common is a lack of a financial education. It will always be a wonder to me why schools place such a high importance on learning Pythagoras' theorem and little to none on fostering a good relationship with your finances. But don't worry about it. Your one stop to financial independence is here to get you on that track to the successful life we all deserve. But first, let's get into some tips on identifying whether you have a bad relationship with your finances. Tip one, and that's probably the most obvious tip: you don't have a budget. If you don't have a budget, you don't have a good relationship with your finances.
Jay broke.
Because that means you're winging it, and that means you don't know how the end of the month is going to work out. You're just here for the ride, and we'll get into why it's such a dangerous thing to not have a budget. But let's get to the next tip. Tip number two: look at how impressive your invested game is in relation to your spending game. And what I mean by investing game is, are the things that you're spending your money, are they going to benefit you in the long run? What is the life expectancy of that benefit that you're getting from your purchase? I mean, we'll get more into it as the time goes on, but for now, I'll just keep it there. Investing game should be stronger than your spending game. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go and invest in stocks and bonds right now, but it's a good place to start practicing and understanding like the fundamentals of investing. I want to make sure that I'm investing in things that will give me long-term benefit than things that will just satisfy me right now. Speaking of which, tip number three: if you have a right now mentality, then you probably have a bad relationship with your finances. Let me explain. If you feel like there's something that you have to have right now and you're willing to move money around in order to get it right now, you probably have a bad relationship with your finances. But you know what, economic system set up in a way that It make you feel like you need it now, and they give you the means to get it now and pay later, which messes up your budgeting and your finances, and it mash up your relationship with your money. But loan companies and banks try to beautify the whole concept of borrowing and feeds the right now mentality that we have. That's how the system is set up. Moving on to tip number, I don't remember what tip I'm at. Probably 3 or 4. Tip number, let's say 4. If you own a credit card, which ties into the tip that I talked about before, if you own a credit card, it's probably because you have a bad relationship with their finances. And let me explain. It's not that you can't have a credit card and have a healthy relationship. It's just that it's much harder to have that kind of relationship because it gives you that you create a reliance, you create a dependency on your credit card. Even if you decide to budget, it creates its voice in the back of your head that like when you're spending something, like it says, even if I can't afford this, I used to have my credit card to cover the cost. And not a healthy sign, because means you're not relying on your budget, and it might not look like you're paying the money back because you're depending on it monthly, but after a while you'll realize that if you should not use that credit card for a month, your finances will be out of whack completely. I mean, if you're the type of person that can have a credit card and pay back the money on it without messing up your budget, then kudos to you. But it's difficult, and I said before, it feeds into the whole concept that these banks are supporting, which is buy now, buy it right now, buy it right now. You know, like you go on the TV and the ad is saying buy now, and they give you all the reasons why you should buy it right now, all the reasons why you need this now. The banks are doing that as well. And I'll give a final tip: not knowing how to say no. Come on, say it with me. No. 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 You need to practice saying no. Peer pressure is a thing. It's a real thing. And a lot of times you don't even realize that you're holding into peer pressure when you say yes to a lot of things. Like, say, if your friend decide that they want to go out. If you're not in the financial space to do so, a lot of the times we do it anyway. 1, because we want to spend time with our friends, or 2, because we don't want to seem like we can't afford it. And then if you look inside yourself, look deep in your heart if that is the reason. Don't just jump up on a second reason like it's not possible. Look deep in your heart. Did I say yes to going to the restaurant with my friends or my family because I didn't want them to feel like I couldn't afford it? Look deep in your heart. It happened to me already. So may not say these things happen. A part of the reason can be too that you don't want to disappoint the people around you by not showing up. But if you don't have the financial spirit, you have to take the stand, and you have to stand up for you and your money. If you and your money cannot afford it, say no. When the fun done, is you stuck with a bill, and is you have to pay it. So you need to figure out what is more important: swimming in debt or learning to put off those things until you can actually afford to go out and do those things. That's how you realize if you have a bad relationship with money, if you feel like you have to say yes. And the last one, but they said that the last one, but this is the last one now, which ties in with the one before. Look at your friends. If all your friends exhibit these symptoms that I'm talking about, then chances are that you have one. Yeah, you might have a own, but the reality is the people that we spend time with are generally going to be the ones that influence us. If you want to have good influences on your spending decisions and your money making decisions, then it's good to be in the company of people that think that way. You have to make sure that your surroundings, your environment, and your social life is being pumped with these kind of people. But I'm not saying break up with all your friends. Just make sure that the voices that are most influential to you are the ones that can help you. It's best to make sure that the voices that are in your head or in your ears are the ones that are able to help you and able to influence you to make better decisions. For now, I'll stop right there, and I hope that you learned something about yourself. But for now, that will be it. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, the only time you don't have an opportunity to turn your life around is when you're in the grave. So if you have a pulse, you have a chance. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that post notification bell so you know when I post another video. From one success story in the making to another, I say God's peace be with you. Goodbye.